Alfonso Cuaron is here. His 2001 Mexican road movie, Y Tu Mama También, earned him the praise of critics and an Academy Award nomination for Best Original Screenplay. Following that success, he's taken the reins of J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Here is the trailer for the film.
Turn to page 394.
Hey guys, why the long faces?
Who is that? That man?
He's a murderer. Sirius Black has escaped from Azkaban prison.
Sirius Black is the reason the Potters are dead.
And now he wants to finish what he started.
I want you to swear to me you won't go looking for Black.
Why would I go looking for someone who wants to kill me?
Harry Potter.
There's something moving out there.
It was a Dementor, one of the guards of Azkaban, searching the train for Sirius Black.
It is not in the nature of a Dementor to be forgiving.
I hope he finds me. Because when he does, I'm going to be ready. You must look beyond.
An evil little cockroach. Oh, that felt good.
I'm pleased to welcome Alfonso Cuaron to this table for the very first time. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
Great to have you here. You haven't seen this. This is the L.A. Times, one of the great newspapers in America, saying Alfonso Cuaron brings a darkly expressive edge to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban based on the J.K. Rowling's books. And then this is what it said. It basically says the following. The most pressing issue is whether the film's talented director can escape the prison constructed for him by the man who directed the first two, Chris Columbus. The answer is yes. And then it goes on to say, but the answer is yes, but just barely, and true to the tradition of adventure yarns only at the last minute. Actually make that the last 60 minutes. For the final hour of the 2-hour and 21-minute Azkaban is the closest of any of the films that have gotten to capturing the enormously pleasing essence of the Potter books. So the last 60 minutes, they say, has gotten closer than any movie to the essence of the books. Tell me what the essence of the books is.
Well, that's the books in general. I think that part of the success of what J.K. Rowling did is that she crafted this adventure, but thematically she dealt with the themes and the characters from an archetype kind of standpoint. So like fairy tales and fables, and then they connect directly into human consciousness.
Yeah.
Obviously is not that realistic kind of universe, but the emotions are very real. The emotions are very human, even if they are wizards.
How do you explain this phenomenon?
It beats me. The only thing I can say is that it connects directly to, and I'm saying this because it transcends any culture.
Right.
I mean, Harry Potter is as big in Japan as it is in England or in America.
Yeah.
So I can only assume that it's because it carries such a universal energy that people relate to that.
Did you have, you were a recognized, up-and-coming, talented director. Did you have any reservation about taking on this?
All of them.
All of them?
Every single one of them.
Because you were following another director who sort of said
Well, first of all, I haven't read the books. I hadn't seen the movies.
Right.
And all I knew is that it's this family film and it's the third part of a franchise.
Right.
And that sounded really bad for me. I was just not interested.
And the actor, in some cases, had already been chosen.
Well, most of the cast have been chosen,
right.
But then I read the book.
And
I fell in love with it. I saw the potential for that movie.
What did you fall in love with?
In a way, I was coming out of this movie, Tu Mamá También, that is the journey of two teenagers seeking for their identity as adults. And here's the journey of a kid seeking for his identity as a teenager. So I felt that I was in a very comfortable place. And again, then I reading the book, I was, that question, why you connect? I don't know. I was connecting with the book. And I said, and also the structure of this book is very cinematic. So for me, I was not that concerned after that. I was concerned about the other elements, the elements that were already in place. But I disagree with that journalist in the sense, or that reviewer, that critic, in the sense that I really love what Chris inherited to me. Chris Columbus, the director of the first and the second one. First of all, he chose Stuart Craig, the production designer, who's a designer I always admire. And I think he put together an amazing group of actors. So I felt very comfortable working with those actors, with those sets, knowing that I was going to be able to build more sets and cast new actors.
But were you conscious of not wanting to copy, and at the same time understanding that because of the actors, because of the story, you are bound by what had come before you?
When I was deciding if to take it or not, a good friend of mine is Guillermo del Toro, the director.
Yes, right. Who's been here on set.
He's been here, actually, yeah. He told me. And he told me, you have to do this. He really wanted me to do this. Yeah. Says, you have to do this, but don't try to do your thing. Just try to serve the material. And if you serve the material, you may do your most personal film.
Wow.
And it was an interesting process, actually. It's the opposite to any other creative process I've been into. It was not about, this is what I want to do. It's about, this is what the material needs or is calling for. It was not about, I'm going to make different from number one or number two. It was about what is in the material. And that was all the way through, was like offering my services. And when you offer, it's very interesting how a lot of other creative doors get open. Yeah. Doors that you didn't know that they existed. Actually, it was a very interesting experience in that sense.
But explain that to me.
Yeah, for instance, I have to throw away my ego of what I would do or not do. I'm just going to serve this. Ultimately,
but how
everything is going to be tainted.
And when you do that, it opens a lot of doors in terms of creative process.
Where your ideas come from, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see.
Yeah, because suddenly you're not stuck into your ego, you're just serving. And it's a complete different process. Actually, the process starts from the standpoint, from the moment in which generally speaking, you do your film and just hope to get some audience. Here, you have the audience, and now you have to deliver them a film.
Now, when people heard that you were going to do it, did people say, wait a minute, we're talking about Harry Potter on the one hand and Watu Mamatambian on the other hand. You're saying to me the guy who did that is going to do this? Did anybody say that?
Well, I did another family film before called A Little Princess.
Oh, that's right.
So that made, in a way...
Right.
Yeah, but still, what I was amused is that this came right after Y Tu Mamá También.
Yeah.
Actually, I was very curious. I asked Alan Horn, the head of Warner, why?
Right. Why me?
Why me? I said, I love the character approach that you have in Y Tu Mamá También. I would love to bring that character approach in this film.
Was it easy, difficult?
It was seamless. It was such an easy experience. It was the two sweeter years in my life. It was very sweet, but it was very long. And I was never stressed. I was exhausted.
Yeah.
The best way to put this is that they give, I don't like cars, but if you like cars and driving, they gave you this amazing car to drive, luxurious, huge machine, powerful,
beautiful, great engine, and also all the luxuries, radios and stuff. Right. They tell you, you're going to drive between New York and LA. Yeah. We're going to clear the roads. Yeah. So have fun. See what you can do.
There's only one catch. No pit stops. Okay, so it's so much fun the first 100 miles, and then you want to pee, and you can't until the end of this. So hopefully in a couple of weeks I'll pee.
All right, let's take a look at this. The first clip we're going to see, roll tape. Here it is, in which the great Michael Gambon explains to the class that the school will host unusual guests for the immediate future.
At the request of the Ministry of Magic, Hogwarts will, until further notice, play host to the Dementors of Azkaban. Until such a time as Sirius Black is captured.
Sirius Black is well bad.
The Dementors will be stationed at every entrance to the grounds. Now, whilst I've been assured that their presence will not disrupt our day-to-day activities, a word of caution. Dementors are vicious creatures. They will not distinguish between the one they hunt and the one who gets in their way. Therefore, I must warn each and every one of you to give them no reason to harm you. It is not in the nature of a Dementor to be forgiving. But you know, happiness can be found even in the darkest of times. If one only remembers to turn on the light.
Now, did you speak with the author much about this?
Early on, we had a few conversations.
Yeah.
The best thing,
is she on scene during the shooting?
She's never around.
She's never.
No. She is such a great lady. The first thing she asked me is not to be literal with adaptation, but to be faithful to the spirit of the book.
Oh.
So that gives you a lot of space. At the same time, gives you a big responsibility because you have to be faithful to the spirit, and who knows what that is.
Yeah, exactly.
And then actually it was more about Steve Kloves, the screenwriter, and me pestering her for ideas and information than her like messing with us. She's great. She understands the creative process, and if she has a comment, it's not about I like or dislike. It's more about that makes sense in this universe, or be careful because that is contradicting something that I'm setting up for the sixth book.
Yeah, but did you go to her? Would you go to her or call her up or communicate with her to say, I don't understand or I don't have an answer to this question?
I never had that problem. It was more about what if, looking for shortcuts, because when you're adapting, you have to look for a lot of shortcuts. Sure. What if we go from this and this, and this character takes conveys the information that this other character used to convey in the book? And sometimes she said, "Oh, perfect." Sometimes she said, "No, that character cannot do that. It's against. You're contradicting his character." So that's the kind of thing she does. She's great.
We got to see Harry at this point. Take a look at this. This is where Hagrid introduces Harry to one of his favorite creatures, Buckbeak. Here it is.
Hagrid. Exactly what is that?
That, Ron, is a hippogriff. Now, who'd like to come and say hello? Well done, Harry. Well done. Come on now. Step up. You can go and pat him now. Go on. Don't be shy. Oh, not so fast, Harry. Slow down, Harry. That's it. You know, slowly, slowly. That's it. Yes. Well done. Oh, well done, Harry. Well done. Ray, let you ride him now.
What?
Come on.
Hey.
Over here. Just
Hagrid.
behind the wing joint. Don't pull out any of his feathers, because he won't thank you for that.
Here's what else I want to know. Did you ask the kids, the young actors, to write an essay to you, asking to do what? To tell you about their life?
No, I asked them to to the three kids is to write an essay in first person, from the standpoint of their characters, doing a bio of their characters from the moment they were born to the moment the movie starts, but investing emotionally, not with the characters' emotions, but their personal emotions to these characters.
And the point of that is what?
First of all, for the kids to find the emotional connection between them and their characters. I had a priceless opportunity here. I'm working with three kids. They are turning 13. They've done 2 of these movies. They understand everything they need to understand about the lifestyle of doing these films.
Yeah.
But now they're starting to take themselves seriously as actors. And they want to go into the emotional universe of acting.
And you want to do what?
And no, what for me was so important, it was to ground the performances in a real place, not in a wizardy place, but in human emotions. Because my theory was that if you ground everything in reality, then the magic, or the so-called magic, is going to spring out just just because it is there.
All right. Here's what I'm going to name the three actors. Obviously, Daniel Radcliffe, Harry Potter. Tell me about him.
Daniel is a sponge. When I met him, he was into punk rock music of the 70s, and I started telling him that he had old man's taste. Because he's so old. Yeah. And I remember giving him the talking heads. He said, "Okay, you move to the 80s now."
Yeah.
I have to say now I cannot go around him because he knows all the bands from the 60s to 2010, and knows who's the drummer, who's the producer, who's the singer. You know, he has so much information. But same with music now, with cinema. He's just eating the world at this point. He's great. Yeah. Very, very rational, very intellectual, as opposed to Emma Watson, who is completely intuitive. Yeah. She, with Dan, you have the big political arguments.
Yeah.
With Emma, you talk about life.
Right. Thinking about doing this and thinking about doing...
Y tu mamá también.
Okay. That and Little Princes. You know, if you look at that as a body of work, where do you want it to go to?
I want to... I really believe that the only reason a filmmaker does a film is not for the end result, but for what you learn for the next film.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
it's all a building.
It's just building up. I have a very eclectic taste.
Right.
I like from popcorn movies to Sukhorov and very obscure European films. So I'm trying to find my voice there. I know that I want to keep on gravitating in the Hollywood universe and doing smaller movies. This is the thing, is doing these films is like when your mother used to make you eat this box of cereal. You have to eat all the cereal because in the bottom of the box
there is a prize.
Exactly, a little toy. Yeah. So you eat all the cereal, and at the end you get the toy. So doing a Hollywood movie is eating the cereal.
You get the toy.
And then you get the toy doing your other film.
Yeah, right.
Now the secret here, and what my mother doesn't know, is that I love cereal.
So they don't know that you love doing it. So if you say, I'll do your Harry Potter so that I can make my very personal film, the great secret is that you're bargaining with them, but you'd love to do Harry Potter standing alone.
And it's, I'd say, the best experience doing a film I ever had. Y Tu Mamá también was the most fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun to do that movie. This was the sweetest experience I had. It was 2 years of everything around the Harry Potter universe has a very beneficial energy, and everybody is you're surrounded in this really warm cocoon. So it was great serial.
Is there any sense of you finding some of Dickens in Harry Potter?
I think there's a lot of that in the books. In principle, just from the moment in which the books, one of the themes of the books is class, and class structure,
which is clearly. And straight out of Dickens.
And that's really straight out of Dickens. But ultimately, it's not only Dickens, it's English lit.
Yeah.
English literature, just because of the class structure of the English society. It's a structure that is very obvious, very obviously classist. That doesn't mean that same thing happens in America, happens in Mexico, but it has a different shape.
Where is home?
Home is New York.
Yeah, so you live here.
I've been 2 years in London now, have to move back to New York now.
And what's the next movie?
Well, I wrote a script right before Harry Potter called Children of Men.
Yeah.
And so if Universal decides to do it,
that'll be it.
But I'm developing a project in Mexico about 1968. There was a student massacre right before the Olympic Games in Mexico, orchestrated by the government. So I'm probably that's going to be my next movie.
Are you looking forward to making a political movie?
I don't know if for me it's not a political thing. It's more about a historic memory. It's about I'm more concerned in humanity than in politics. I'm more concerned about the fact that when there's a massacre in one place of the globe, it affects the rest of the globe, even if you're not aware at that moment that you're being affected by that at that moment. I think that whenever there's an injustice to one person, if it affects the rest of the world. So that's more or less the approach.
But that's also the essence of politics, too.
It is, except I have lost faith in the word politics lately.
But when you say that, though, my guess is that you're giving a definition to politics that is sort of traditional, and what you are saying is that you've lost faith in politicians. It's not so much you've lost faith in politics, but politicians.
Well, or the way in which contemporary politics are played, the so-called spin of information.
Yeah.
That is the new trend of politics nowadays. Yeah. It used to be about showing who's the honest one.
Yeah.
And it used to be about proposing plans. Now it's not about that. Now it's about who's the least of the worst, and who is the one who's more clever to deal with information. It's about cleverness now. It's not about it's not about constructing anymore.
Yeah. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. It's in theaters now. It is a Warner Brothers film. I am pleased to have the director on this program. Thank you, Alfonso.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us. See you next time.